Hey everybody, Editor Jacob here from the future. In general, ImTrying is a pretty family-friendly show. We like to be as accessible as possible by as many audiences as possible. That said, I'm trying harder, this little spin-off we're doing. It's a little bit looser, and that means topics and themes that normally wouldn't make the main show. All that said, today's I'm Trying Harder features some pretty explicit language and sexual themes. If that's not what you're into, if now is not the time to listen to an episode like that, if you have kids in the car, click on a different episode. We won't be offended. Don't worry about it. Come back later maybe if you wanna. If you're down with that kind of episode, it's a lot of fun. We had a good time making it. There were a lot of laughs and pizza, and we hope you enjoy the show. Thanks. Welcome to I'm Trying Harder, the show where we make our friends drink wine, eat pizza, and complain about stuff. I'm Jacob Derwin.
And I'm Janelle Dennis.
Thank you for coming to our second I'm Trying Harder. It's still...
We're still trying.
We're working it out, yeah, man. We'll see how this goes today. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
This is quite the pairing.
It's the Battle Royale.
It is a mono and mono. Well, I guess we're helping. So
With the two heavyweight champions
of innuendo. So I'm gonna preface this. I'll probably put a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode as well. But there is a decent chance that this episode is going to contain sexually explicit content. And if you happen to be listening in the car with a kid, or you're just around other people and you don't want them to know what you're into, earmuffs, that kind of thing, you just maybe save it for later. Maybe go listen to our episode with with Mark Normand or the first I'm Trying Harder, and maybe come back to this one in a little bit. And we'll be here waiting. We'll be here in your feed.
This one's a good one, after, let's say, 9 p.m. when you're settling down with a glass of wine, like our guests are right now.
Yeah, not sponsored by Angry Orchard, but,
We're trying to get that sponsorship.
We take it. Anyways, so how this show works, both Janelle and I have a friend with us who is going to be our teammate. That person is going to present a 5-minute argument about why something that they have to deal with in their everyday life or just whenever is worse, causes more desperation, more embarrassment potentially, more stress. This could be anything, like we learned in last episode. It could be about being an adult and getting paychecks, money, spin class, things that maybe are hyped up but really aren't as good as you might hope they are.
Spin class is the worst. Go listen to that one.
Elena and Cyan, go take a listen. So we should introduce the guests.
Yeah.
And if you want to introduce yours first, go for it.
We didn't do the heads and tails flip. I only learned how to do heads and tails.
Well, we did it last time because they were both people I knew. And we had to determine who was going to be on your team because you didn't know either of them super well.
If you give your person an advantage here, there's going to be a huge problem. I hope you know this.
If I give my person an advantage here,
yes.
How can I give them an advantage?
By letting him start first or letting him go after.
Oh, we can flip a coin for who goes first and second, not for dividing the team though.
Okay.
They're cracking up at logistics. Great, look what we've done. So if you want to introduce your friend, I'll move out of the way and you can introduce her, yeah?
All right. And in this corner, we have the lovely Sade White. Yes, that's Sade, like the singer, like the desert misses the rain.
Hello there. I'm so excited to be on Miss Janelle's podcast with her beautiful host. And I've been so excited to actually get here, you guys, because I have so much to talk to you about.
Oh, she is no filter on this one, and I'm feeling really good about this. I really feel like we can bring out a win. We're both super competitive, and this is the horse I'm betting on. Not that you're a horse, but
I mean,
you have long, beautiful, luscious hair like one.
And we love horses, right? And elephants.
Yeah.
In many aspects.
And miscellaneous animals.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, and everyone switch. Maybe one day we'll have an actual studio where we can have multiple microphones in multiple directions. All right, I'd like to introduce everyone to someone who's been on the podcast in some small ways here and there. This is Wolfe Sade, everybody. Wolfe Sade, voice actor, singer, actor. doesn't know what to say now.
Many hats that I wear. Yeah, it's glad to actually be on the podcast. Yeah. Normally, I just get to listen at a distance
and or fall asleep on the couch.
Fall asleep on the couch. So now I'm here. I've had some experience in absorbing the content, and I think that's what's truly going to give me the advantage in this situation to really surprise everyone and pull this dub for us.
It's gonna be roommates versus. How did you guys meet?
Sony. Oh, at work.
Okay, so roommates versus coworkers, essentially. I mean, I'll do my best to support you in any way you can. That's what I'm here for.
That's all I can ask.
Dungeons and Dragons mates?
I mean, I've played once or twice with Wolfe. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I am a dungeon master, so maybe that will apply somehow during this conversation. I'll pull out some esoteric knowledge.
Esoteric knowledge is the best.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to flip a coin. Sade and Ryan, if you want to come to the couch. We'll make it all dramatic. Alright. Still peeking a little bit. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, that's fine. Alright, who wants to call it?
Heads.
Alright, well, we gotta wait till I flip it, and then say it.
Okay.
but if she still says the same thing, then I don't think that's like when you were like, if I give him an advantage, like if he goes first or if he goes second. Like the only option is not go at all. I guess is the only way.
All right, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Call it.
Teals.
See, I said you. I knew it.
Plot twist.
Good call. Good call.
All right.
So would you like to go first or second, Sade?
I'll go second.
All right.
Dang, I was just about to say I really wanted to go second.
All right.
That's so funny though. Yeah.
All right, Wolfe. What is? I'm gonna put 5 minutes on a timer here.
Oh God. Okay.
And you're gonna give us your argument. Here we go. We got 5 minutes on the clock. Please begin.
All right, I'm going to preface this by saying this is going to be really difficult to do because I know there's certain words I can't say which are like integral to the description of these things I'm trying to talk about. But I will be as, as expressive as I can be. Okay, so I want to talk about like the terms that we use for things, especially when it relates to relationships and sex, and how I find that some of them can be a little frustrating in the dating pool, especially in New York. You're all on the dating apps, right? Mm-hmm. One term that I see a lot of and has caused me some like confusion and frustration is the term F-boy. Very popular term nowadays.
Yes, I see it quite a bit.
Yeah, yes, you do. You see it in tons of profiles, and this is why I want to talk about it. You'll see lots of young ladies who in their profiles will be like, no F-boys need apply. Not looking for an F-boy, right? Which is totally, I get where they're coming from, right? Because that's not a good thing. But I think what we have to really discern is what an F-boy is, because I am, as you know, as you may be aware, I'm
an F-boy.
No, see, this is why we're going to have this conversation. I am a sexually, available, explorative kind of person.
Sure.
And I have friends, like my friend Lauren, who jokingly one day was like, oh yeah, you're an F-boy. And I was like, no, let's talk about that for a second. Because I think F-boy implies there are negative behaviors. You are doing things that are detrimental, that are painful to the other person. You're deliberately leading them on. Mm-hmm. You're being just not a good human to that other human, right?
Sure. Yes.
You can be sexually explorative. You can have multiple partners. You can do that without being awful. But because our society is like designed in this way that relationships are expected to go a certain way. You meet someone, you fall in love, you date them forever, and the end point is like we're married or we're dead. Anything that's not that qualifies you as an F-boy, right? Because everything is like, you're wasting my time, you're blah, blah, blah. You can go on dates. You can enjoy someone's company, but not necessarily want to or even end up being exclusive with that person.
Sure.
I don't think that qualifies you necessarily as an F-boy. I don't think it means that you are being, if you're talking about it, if you're being communicative, I don't think that makes you that way. Okay. Right?
So here, I'm going to help you out a little bit here. So what would you say to people who have more clear and defined terms for what this is? Because I'm sure that there's a million different definitions.
Yes.
I'm sure Janelle and Sade both have different opinions on what an F-boy actually is.
Yes, that's what I mean. So I think what we'd have to do is two things. We have to define actually what an F-boy is and what those negative... Drop the
All right,
mic, quite literally.
Hold on.
We have to
and go.
we have to define what an F-boy is, or F-person is, right? And what those negative behaviors are that causes those points of stress, right? But also define a term or better terms for what it means to be in more casual partnerships or things like that. I mean, obviously polyamory is a big thing. You hear that buzzword a lot. I'm reading a book right now. I don't know if I can say this word, so I'll like a word that begins with an S that usually is used for a promiscuous person. Can I say that word?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so like for
Part of the title of the book, right?
that's true.
Yeah, sure.
Reading a book called The Ethical Slut, and it's all about relationships and allowing yourself to explore that spectrum and sort of reclaiming that word. Like, yeah, I can be sexually open. I can be a quote-unquote slut. That doesn't mean that has to have any negative connotation. I like calling myself a slut or an ethical slut to like quantify it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think we all really need to look at that term, because I think a lot of people are very quick to throw it at people after you go on a couple dates, and it's like, oh, you don't want to like fall in love with me? You don't want to be my mans? Then you an F-boy. And I think that can be kind of, I don't know, I think it's kind of hurtful, and I don't think it's very constructive. I think we have to define what makes an F-boy. That's what I'm going to leave up to the audience.
Sure.
What an F-boy makes.
Yeah, what an F-boy makes.
What do you think an F-boy makes?
I think it has to do with like very negative, like gaslighting people, like not being honest about who you're seeing, the parameters of the relationships that you're having, not being honest about your intentions, right? If you're just going about all willy-nilly, having sex with everyone and not being honest about those relationships with other people, if you're not being tested, that kind of stuff, that's pretty bad. That's pretty F-boy behavior. Mm-hmm. But if you are being healthy and responsible and communicative, I don't see why there's any reason why you can't enjoy multiple partners and, a sexually healthy life.
Mm-hmm. 10 seconds.
Without being an F-boy. 6 seconds left on the clock. Nailed it. I'm a dungeon master, D&D. There you go. I rolled it in there.
All right. Thank you, Wolf.
You're welcome.
Welcome,
everyone.
We're going to switch out. I think
That's what I mean. We got something going on here.
We'll switch out. We're switching out. After you. I'm putting, let me know when you're ready. 5 minutes. I'm worried about this peaking. Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah, and what is your topic, Sade?
Well, let's talk about sex, baby. I want to talk about one-night stands coming from a woman's point of view, because I feel like in New York, like you said, we're slut-shamed, or you're a hoe, or you're this, or you're that, and maybe we can even be called fuck girls. It's okay. Can I say that on here?
Say F-girls.
F-girls. We can be called F-girls. And I don't think that... So, for me, personally, I'm pretty much free spirit. I love to have sex. I'm a very sexual person. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I told you now, I have an agreement with someone that I've been sleeping with for like years, and we both get tested. We're both honest if we sleep with other people. I feel like there's a responsibility that you have to yourself and the other person, and just be honest. Just protect me, I'll protect you. But, you should be able to love and enjoy sex, all forms of sex, okay? Because when it comes into intimacy, there's more than just the penetration. There's, having... You guys, stop making me laugh. There's the actual relationship. I feel like I almost have like kind of a fake relationship with the person I'm, sleeping with. We have like a real agreement. Like we don't, it's like, okay, do you want to go to the movies? We can do that. Do you want me to just meet you at home? We can do that. It's just, there's just so much, it's just very transparent. It's like, this is what I'm doing. Or if I sleep with someone else, it's like, hey, just want to let you know I was with Bob last week, but we used protection. So, I think that one night stand shouldn't be this whole taboo and this thing where it's like, oh my God, don't do it. You're a woman. If you do it, you're going to be a slut or a hoe or whatever the case be. And it's like, I should get the same respect that a man gets when a man sleeps with multiple women.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not? Like, why am I all of these, words that you guys don't even, F-boy, come on. I'll take that over being called like a whore.
Not scallywag.
A scoundrel?
No, scallywag.
Pirates?
Yes.
No, like a heifer, a thought.
Yeah, a thought. You guys have so many words for us. It's appalling. It's appalling. It really is. You have so many words. And then We just have F boy.
Yeah.
I'll take F girl. Okay, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my truth. I'm okay with the honesty of being who I am, as being as sexually open and fluid as I am. You know, as long as I feel like that is a way that I'm almost respecting myself by respecting you and respecting
Self-care.
Self-care. There you go.
And care of other selves.
Yes. And I also I think it's okay to love being in your 20s, living in this huge, beautiful city with all these beautiful people and wanting to try multiple beautiful people. I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I like trying all different things, races, people, backgrounds. I just want to know. I want to experience it all. And what other way to experience it all with someone than for them to be that close to you, inside of you.
Still got 90 seconds.
The closest they can possibly be.
That's as close as you can get to me. But, you know, like I said, as long as I'm respecting myself, I think that on both sides, there shouldn't be any F-boys or hoes or anything. It should just be, I love sex, you love sex, let's do the damn
Tell me
thing.
how you feel about the people that say, you should be in a relationship by now. You should be married.
Oh
Why
my
aren't you
God,
married
I'm
to
27, you guys. Hold on, I'll get there. I don't know. For me, personally, because I'm also from the South, my family's always like, you're 27, you're supposed to be married with kids at 18. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm running out of time. No, I don't really give a fuck. I feel like I said, I'm free spirit. I'm going to do whatever I want. If the time comes and I decide to settle down and have a bunch of babies, and like I said, I keep attracting these men where I have sex with them and all of a sudden they want to be in full relationships. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be a doctor's wife. But if it comes to that, eventually, so be it. But right now I'm having fun and I'm enjoying the world of Sade.
Oh, the world of Sade.
And that includes all of this sexual energy.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm smooth operating through life. I'm smooth operating through life. You see that? I'm journeying. Okay? So, yes.
Okay, we got 10 seconds left on the clock. Any final
We have
words?
10 seconds left, so I'm going to say follow Sade J. White on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snap, Facebook.
And you're out of time. All right,
See,
so
that's the aggressive
I,
thing I like.
Janelle and I are going to have a second here.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, this is deliberate. This is
Let's
the
defend them a little bit. Let's defend them a little
pretty
bit.
well subconsciously.
Do you
Is this a
feel,
deliberation period?
do you feel like we shouldn't be here? I feel like we shouldn't be here. I'm starting to feel like we shouldn't be here. How you feel? So to clarify the arguments, I know Ryan's argument. Wolf's argument seems to. I gotta be right.
No, you can do whatever you want.
Now I want to make sure I do the right name. It's important.
Living my best life. Oops.
It seems to me that Wolf's argument is mainly about the misdefining of people who have responsible, varied relationships. It's not just giving them like such a harsh title is not fair, and so in particular that one title of the F boy, that seems to be that argument. And Sade's argument seems to be mainly the demonification of the one night stand when it can be a completely reasonable thing to do.
On Wolf's side, it definitely, I gotta say, it opened up my eyes because I think I definitely have called him that at one point when we first met him, before getting to know him, obviously. And also, I had a song, a rap that I wrote called F Boy. You can get it on iTunes if you want. I'm taking on Sade's. And yeah, it was just like, oh, you don't like me? Okay, you're an F boy then. How could you not like this? So that kind of, yeah, I understand what you mean. But on Sade's side, I do agree with her that, you know, women get that and more.
Sure. I think you know, I'm pulling for my guy here. I don't think I could be considered in a similar vein necessarily, just based on my own activity. But I do think it's interesting how you can be a responsible man. This is something I have experienced. You can be a responsible man who is emotionally available, but also has clear intentions and is communicative. And despite all that, there's this kind of general modern stereotype, and it
that you have like, no feelings.
Yeah,
that you're a brutal monster.
Yeah, exactly. Unfeeling, sex-craved creature who's just not thinking about how someone else feels. which is not true.
I mean,
I'm not saying...
that's what we call Wolfe behind his back.
Oh gosh, unfeeling, sex-crazed creature.
Tombstone.
Yeah, right. It's so I think look, I'm not gonna pretend like men have it harder. I'm not insane, but I do think it's a little there is
different.
I do think there's a subset of dudes who probably get unfairly categorized and are just trying to do everything as nicely as they can, just because other people have sucked in the past.
Okay, how you pulled for your boy, I'm going to pull for my
Please
girl.
do, that's the point.
And a similar, I guess, parallel. Not this. I don't get probably the same things that Sade gets, but even just hanging out. I have a lot of male friends, so hanging out with my male friends, and they always assume like, oh yeah, she's hooking up with him, or she's hooking up with all these dudes, and I'm like, no, these are just my friends. Or is that what's expected? Do they think that's going to happen? Because no. And like I've lost like some friendships over that kind of stuff, and
so be it.
yeah.
I have two over
Cut 'em
people.
off.
I have two over people who thought I was trying to do something when I wasn't. So it's
We're just two innocent little babies.
we're cherubs, man. We're sweet people. Date us. Anyways, I'm gonna let's give.
I don't have apps though. I think both of them. We didn't have time to talk about this. I think both of them are on the apps.
We'll give them a closing argument.
Okay.
We'll give Sade and Wolf. We'll do. You guys can have a back and forth. Have your own conversation. All of what we've just done. We'll give you 5 minutes.
So sorry.
If you can't handle that, I can turn off the mic. That's not that hard. Click of a button. All right, so we'll give you that moment. I'll step up with 5 more minutes on the clock, and you two just try not to kiss. And here we go. And also, you guys have natural projection, which is great. I'm gonna move the mic away a little bit because we are still peeking.
Not too loud.
God,
you're fine.
everything about us is so powerful.
So powerful.
Too powerful.
Too much.
Is it a Taurus and a Taurus?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, we're super compatible.
Are we starting a podcast right now? Anyway, welcome to I'm Trying Harder with your hosts.
And both of them got me into CoStar at the same time.
Oh, dang.
You see that?
I'm clicking the 5 minutes. Try to talk about what's relevant. And go.
So wait,
Hey.
are we supposed to be arguing? I don't feel like we're gonna argue. I feel like
we're gonna come together and
yeah.
agree to disagree in a sense.
yeah. Well, no. Here's what I'll say.
Final thoughts. Final
Yeah.
thoughts.
Well, final thoughts. I'll say. I feel like already laughing at me. I haven't even said it.
That's the whole thing.
No, but I would like to preface by saying that wow, I can't talk too much wine.
Same.
Same. No, I don't want to equate, because you have a very good point. I do not want to equate F-boy with being by any means synonymous or holding equal weight as a lot of the derogatory terms that women have had or held. Like, that is not... that isn't exactly what I'm trying to pit against one another there. But I guess what my whole point was, I just think we should look at the terms and we should redefine them. You know what I mean? And the same terms that you're talking about here, I feel like could also be redefined and re-examined. You know?
I completely agree with that. However, like I said, I'm so free spirited. I don't really care if you call me an F girl or what you call me, because I know who I am and what I am, and if you want to call me a hoe or whatever the case being, okay, I'll probably fuck your man. No, I'm joking.
You're gonna call me out, I'll find a way to ruin you.
No. But I think it depends on the person. I don't take it too seriously. And I also feel like women, we have it so much harder than you guys.
Oh, for sure.
So I kind of feel like when you guys are like, woe is me, I'm an F-boy, it's like, seriously? Do you know what we deal with on a constant basis? That's like nothing compared to like what women deal with constantly.
For sure. No, slut shaming is super real on across the board.
F-boy shaming is too. You see that? I'm agreeing.
I'm about to say, I feel like our points are like just different enough, but then there's also layers of
that little
similarity.
thing.
So what's actually worse?
Okay.
Being labeled something that isn't fair, or being labeled as something that isn't fair, or the demonization of the one night stand as its own entity. What's worse, the being called something because you're being called something, or the fact that people think this one act in particular is allows you to be called one of those things. Tell me what's worse, the actual act being...
No, I get where you're. I
get where you're going.
Is the label worse, or is just people looking down on the act worse? Is the emotional aspect of it worse, or is the physical label worse?
I feel like demonizing the act is worse, only because if we didn't demonize it, there would be no labels.
But it
right?
is
It's the chicken
what
and
it
the egg
is.
situation.
That's what I'm doing. So this is what I feel like. You can try to demonize it as much as you want, but that's the proof. Like, that's what we did. So it's like, you can be like, oh my God, you had a one night stand, this and that, but it's like, okay, and?
Right.
I'm probably going to have plenty more. So.
Right, but I'm saying if we didn't care about it, right? If we didn't care if people banged once and never talked to each other, or did not have committed relationships in that sexual spectrum, then we wouldn't have these bad terms, these negative terms, because then everybody would just be living their dreams.
Just pointing out that Wolfe's argument was the term is worse than the act. So therefore, just saying.
That was never my argument.
Your argument was the F-boy label is Miss
First of all, I went first, and I just said that it's bad.
But
I'm saying that you're both arguing the wrong... Okay, whatever.
Oh wait, are we arguing each other's points?
Exactly.
Listen.
Now I get what's happening.
You put two beautiful people with dimples, a Capricorn and a Taurus,
I'm
on
sorry,
your podcast.
man.
Come on.
You know who really lost this argument? The I'm Trying podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we have won.
We've won.
I hate being non-dimple having shame. That is worse than
Non-dimple
having
shame.
I'm sorry, that's just not part of this exclusive
think
club.
that's
You have
Worse
54
than-
seconds.
54 seconds. But hey, this is wonderful. This is a treat for everyone involved.
I would say the demonizing the actual act is the worst as well, because I feel like there's sometimes where, you know, women are called hoes and sluts, and it's like she could be a complete virgin. You never even know what's going on. So I think you calling me something that might not even be legit is worse than me actually being in the act, because proof is in the pudding.
So you're defending his side of it.
And then I'm
I'm gonna
betting her
defend
side.
them. I'm gonna go with the dimple king over
we're
here.
saying Wolfe actually won this before we even bring it out to the audience.
I'll let him take this win. Okay. You see that? Wait, the mic
drop
The mic's
again.
like, we're not having this.
I have 8 seconds.
Because they're not taking anything.
I need some coach time alone with my.
2, 1.
We did not discuss that.
And we're out of
Give it over.
time.
When? What are you talking about? You have this.
Come on over, Janelle. Come on over, Janelle.
As I ingest it.
Do we leave? Do we
You know what?
stay?
You can stay right there. Stay in eyesight.
Stay within
Stay within eyesight. Oh my God, Janelle. All right. So,
This went completely off the rails.
what have we learned today, Janelle? Janelle, what have we learned today?
I've learned that nobody can be trusted.
I've learned that we have to screen our arguments way better ahead of time. We did a poor job.
No, I loved that argument. But I loved it. Was just.
You know, I'm trying harder.
I think men are
envisioned
from
it-
Mars, women are from Venus. The 2019 millennial version.
I've decided that I've decided that after this what was I originally meant to be a debate that I'm Trying Harder is not a debate show. It's not a show about arguments. It's a show about people coming together, and I mean that in every sense of the word.
Oh
Literal.
I'd say, you know, vote on Instagram and Twitter for which team had the better argument, but it appears that they
no!
agree.
Let's vote for who has the better dimples.
Love
I know who's gonna win.
We're gonna go at it.
Y'all realize this is an audio medium, right? This is
They're
But if
really
it's on
good. For
Instagram-
people who are listening, they're really good.
They're
This
really
was-
good.
Yeah,
okay?
Sade
I have
is the
double
clear
one,
winner.
so just point that out.
Yeah, she has dimples when she's not even smiling. So
I'm just like blown away by how little I was able to manage this thing.
control. That's another, you know,
Okay.
consent. That's a whole nother podcast that
Hey, guys.
Ryan and Sade are going to start.
We'll
Keep an eye out for that.
So,
The dimple.
guys, thanks for listening. Really glad you're here. We'll see.
Speechless.
We'll see what the next time try. I'm curious because we're still trying to work out this format, right? So maybe this is what I'm Trying Harder is. Maybe
Yeah.
it is literally just like get our friends kind of buzzed and get
Buzzed
them, and make
they
them
were.
flirt with each other. I don't know. Is that the game? I mean,
like
it
a
could
reality
be.
show.
Yeah, I know it is.
Maybe we can get sponsored by Bumble or Hinge.
I prefer Hinge.
Tender.
Oh yeah.
Tinder doesn't need any help.
The F girl says Tinder.
I'm just blown away
all
right
your
now.
doctors.
All right, so I'm gonna record another disclaimer ahead of this episode because you know what? I'm not censoring this episode. I'm not going through
Yeah,
that.
it's not.
So this is gonna be the first ever I'm trying.
Hey, that's a game changer. You see that?
This is a whole different breed, people.
That's what you get when you get a Taurus and a Capricorn together.
That's what happens.
Anyways.
I apologize for nothing.
I'm with him again.
I'm Jacob Derwin. I couldn't care less about astrology. Thank you very much for listening to I'm Trying Harder.
I'm Janelle Dennis, and I care so much.
And
For anyone, I'm a Cancer Sun, Capricorn Moon, Pisces Rising. That's why.
she likes fish. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.